Welcome in NFL Divisional Rounds. 2 games down, 2 games to go after a fun Saturday night. 49ers and Packers coming down to the wire in a classic out in San Francisco. Half of your AFC and NFC championship games are set. The other half to be determined on Sunday afternoon into the evening. Welcome in. Nick Shepkowski with you, ready to talk some NFL for just a couple of minutes here. Some thoughts, some things to get to right away. Obviously, just fresh off the finish of that game. Thriller in San Francisco. Couple of takeaways from the 49ers, their 24-21 win over the Green Bay Packers. Fun game. I don't know if it was the best played game, but a very fun, very entertaining game. A reminder that get the ball in the player, get the ball to your stars. More so the players, not plays type of thing. And down the line for San Francisco, ultimately, Christian McCaffrey, 2 second-half touchdowns with the 49ers trailing, ends up being a huge difference in that game. Did not think Brock Purdy played particularly well for the majority of it. I thought he played pretty poorly. Maybe that has a lot to do with Deebo Samuel being out. Probably does. But props to Brock Purdy because when it mattered most, those final couple of drives for San Francisco, pulled his bootstraps up, he made plays, while the quarterback on the other side simply did not. I know that we want to anoint the Jordan Love's next great Green Bay Packers quarterback, and he certainly has a hell of a lot of potential, had a lot better year than I think most people anticipated, especially after how things had gone about 3 or 4 weeks into the season. However, after Green Bay took that 21-13 lead, let me just read a couple of numbers for you for what Jordan Love was able to do or not able to do for that case. So the Packers take the lead 21-13, 21-14 rather, with just over 5 minutes left in the third quarter. From there on out, Jordan Love, 5 of 9 passing, 29 yards. If you're quick to do math, that's 2 2/3, 2.6 yards per attempt the rest of the way. 2 interceptions as well. Did not play well down the stretch. You look at the Green Bay offense, totaled 97 yards, 96 yards after that touchdown that put them up 21-14. And it was like 58 or 60 of those yards came on the Aaron Jones run. They didn't have any offense late. And maybe that's an indictment on Matt LaFleur. Maybe it's part on Jordan Love. It is on both of them. Had a chance to put that game away. Obviously, the special teams come into play there with the missed field goal, but they were unable to do so. And so now San Francisco gets to host the NFC Championship game next week against either Detroit or Tampa Bay. Whoever it's against, they're going to be a sizable favorite. I think that there was some rust, that kind of situation there for the Niners as well. But I'll tell you what, it is Deebo's playing or Deebo's not playing. That team is entirely different. I know it's very easy to say when you have an all-pro, regular Pro Bowl talent quite like that. But it's pretty obvious to see that, I think, as well. So with San Francisco, and one takeaway, I guess, I know a lot of Chicago people will be watching this. So one takeaway, I guess, from this game as well, maybe from this game, but more of just the 49ers in general, is that if you're the Bears, how good do you feel that the guy you traded for was Montez Sweat and not Chase Young? It's not supposed to be an indictment on Chase Young and just be, oh, yeah, he's awful, he's atrocious. But feel better about the future of Sweat signing him to a big-time deal than I think I do about Chase Young in that situation. But regardless, I mean, that San Francisco defense, they deserve credit as well. I know I'm sitting here ripping on Jordan Love and Matt LaFleur for what the Packers weren't unable to do the last 20 minutes of the game offensively. But there's good defense that obviously went into that as well. And San Francisco certainly supplied that most of the night. Still only allowed 21 points in that game. It's not like they're letting Jordan Love just march up and down the field all night long. But San Francisco advances. They'll be a favorite, you'd figure, by about a touchdown at least, if not a hair more, against the Lions. Probably be close to a 10-point favorite against Tampa Bay if they end up playing the Bucs, I would think, depending what happens Sunday in the NFC's second divisional round. Other game today ends up being a blowout. Baltimore 34-10 over Houston. Perhaps we should have seen that coming. CJ Stroud, absolutely all-time type of rookie campaign for the Ohio State quarterback. Changed the direction of that franchise with the Houston Texans, but did not play particularly well today. And why was that? Well, I think a lot of that credit goes to the Baltimore defense. The Baltimore defense is outstanding. To me today, Lamar Jackson speaks for himself. Obviously, he didn't play bad at any point, but his second half, absolutely insane. The thing that gets me is that, yeah, a huge Chicago following, at least what I see on social media. And all of this, oh, Justin Fields gets developed. He'll be Lamar Jackson. Oh, there's so many similarities. What the hell are you watching? Saying that Justin Fields is like Lamar Jackson is like saying, okay, here's an example for you. I ran track in high school. I did hurdles in high school. I was good enough to perform and be recruited and perform for at the Division 3 level in 110 high hurdles and 400 hurdles. Does that make me Edwin Moses? Does that make me comparable to Edwin Moses because I did that? Because that feels like what we're doing with Justin Fields. Oh, he's a quarterback that, okay, he can throw the ball 50 yards down the field sometimes, and he can make plays with his feet. Hey, let's take it easy. Lamar Jackson has an MVP. He should win another one at this point in his career this season. Like, I like Justin Fields as a person. I like Justin Fields as a player. I don't love him. He's not in the same, forget being comparable to Lamar Jackson. He's barely in the same stadium as Lamar Jackson. So let's pump the brakes on that one quite a bit. I think that when you look at Baltimore, where they succeed, it's funny how good franchises just keep being good franchises for a long time. I thought the best player on the field defensively for the Ravens today, and for parts of the season, Kyle Hamilton. If you remember following the draft a couple of years ago when he got selected, there was hype of, a couple of writers, he might be the most talented player in the draft, though he's one of the top 2 or 3 talents in this draft. Yet he fell to 14 overall because his 40 time wasn't anything great. Oh, undraftable, too slow. Well, you can't play at the NFL level. The speed just not enough for Kyle Hamilton. He's not going to be able to overcome this in the NFL. So he slides all the way to 14. The Baltimore Ravens are there. Again, successful organization that doesn't overthink things, looks at highlight tapes and college tape and says, yeah, that guy's a playmaker. That guy's got football sense. That guy's got a football IQ. Maybe that's a good idea to draft him because he's also a freak of an athlete. And what do you know? Kyle Hamilton turns into an all-pro in just a second year. And I thought for much of the year, today included, was the best player defensively on the field for the Ravens. Lamar Jackson speaks for himself, what they do offensively. But it's just sometimes you don't have to overthink things. And I think the Ravens are a team that does that as well as anyone in the NFL of, yeah, he's talented. There's great value here in the draft. Do it again. Oh, well, Roquan Smith's available because the Bears are trading things away and trying to burn off and sell any assets for anything. Yeah, go get one of the best middle linebackers in the entire league for fairly cheap on the dollar. Okay. Hey, don't overthink it. And now that team is set up they're 1 win away from going back to the Super Bowl. And it's not really a mistake that's necessarily happening there. I think it's also funny to me. You kind of look at this and remember a year ago on Black Monday in the NFL, all the coaches get fired and how a lot of the reaction was, oh my God, Lovie Smith got mistreated with the Texans. Holy cow, how can you possibly? He didn't get a fair shake. He didn't get a fair deal. Draft CJ Stroud or not, you think if the Texans still had Lovie Smith as a coach, that turnaround is coming as quickly as it did this year for Houston? Their season ends today, obviously, but props to them for what they were able to do. Just some recap there for the NFL news for you for the NFL games. Exciting day of games. Baltimore ended up kicking the living crap out of Houston by the end of things, really dominating in the fourth quarter to run away. But that second game, pretty exciting, pretty fun one. Is Green Bay. Like I said, every chance in the world to put that thing on ice, could not do so. Credit the Niners defense for not letting their Jordan Love and company with the Packers run away with that thing. And then don't overthink it. Ultimately, Kyle Shanahan finally came around to it. But, man, it was like, just get Christian McCaffrey the ball at some point. And he finally did. And what do you know? Christian McCaffrey gets the game-winning touchdown. Not to say that Purdy was bad down the stretch. That final drive, Brock Purdy played really well. He overcame what was, I thought, a below-average game and below-average contest for him most of the way through. Nick Shepkowski, talking NFL with you. This was fun. Hope the games Sunday are just as good. And hopefully we'll do this again soon. Take care.